Marvel? Oh Marvel, what the hell happened to you? And no, idiots, I am not talking about the MCU. Although they were having a huge fall off until last year too. And Avengers Doomsday feels more and more like Avengers Desperation. I am here to talk about Marvel Comics. You know, the ones that used to be a big deal in the 80s, 90s, and even the 2000s despite the misses they were making at that time. But now, you don't even want to read their comic books anymore. And it has been a problem I have been having with them for decades. And the strangest thing is, I don't know where to pinpoint the problem. The simplest answer is to go back way into the 90s because that is where the main issues started occurring. My biggest issue during the 90s era Marvel actually comes from the Clone Saga. Norman Osborn's Green Goblin is one of the best villains in comic books. But most of it comes from his early runs. He was the one that figured out Spider-Man's identity. He beat Spider-Man, and most importantly, he was the one who killed Gwen Stacy, and at the time, a hero saving his love interest was unthinkable. Just imagine the legendary status that gives Green Goblin during those days. These days villains just do it just for the sake of shock value and nobody is really surprised. It led to a real emotional turmoil for Spider-Man, and despite coming to Goblin wanting to kill him, his morals eventually snapped him back to his senses. Green Goblin, in a last-ditch effort, tried to kill Spider-Man but ended up killing himself, and Peter was not happy. This was the best way to write off Norman, and he was at his most interesting when he was still impacting the Spider-Man mythos even after being dead. We got Harry Osborn as the Green Goblin, and later on the Hobgoblin just from this man. Gwen Stacy was dead, despite some failed attempts to bring her back. So what did Marvel do in the 90s? Bring back Norman Osborn. They ruined the most interesting storytelling bits they made with him to mastermind the most confusing ass plot which failed its original purpose. Let Peter be happy while Ben Reilly gets to be Spider-Man. Since then, Norman has been a part of questionable stories and now getting some bullshit redemption. And Norman is not the only one. Kraven died in one of the best Spider-Man stories ever created, and when he was brought back decades later, he never reached that level that he did. They put out some of the most legendary Spider-Man stories, with the villains that were given a send-off of the highest note. And now they are back and they haven't been the same since. But nothing offends me more than the treatment with Spider-Man himself. He loses his child and his marriage. Peter has not been developed since the late 2000s. The writers just make Peter's life miserable just for that sake because they think they are developing the character, and what you have now is a character who is better off dead at this point. But read the 1000 issue where we celebrate the cash cow whose story we endlessly butcher non-stops for half of the issues, and refuse to undo the One More Day plotline to this day. Honestly, I can go on and on about how horrible Spider-Man is treated and the never-ending shitty writing decisions made with his story. But he is not the only one. But I will mention I hate Marvel just for their treatment of Spider-Man alone. Let's get to the House of M. Y'all love that comic, right? These days y'all love Wanda and glaze this woman to the heavens. And she was responsible for one of the most challenging times for the X-Men, and a story prior is instrumental to disbanding the Avengers. Now what if I tell you that House of M is the biggest example of Marvel's shitty writing that was plaguing during the 2000s and still damaged Marvel to this day? House of M was a character assassination of Wanda Maximoff. She was having a breakdown over her lost children, and it's something she got a long time ago. She forgot her children, she then remembered her children, she grieved, she accepted it, and she got over it. And Marvel's stupid ass retconned one of the most real and interesting character arcs of Scarlet Witch and wrote one of the worst stories in Avengers Disassembled just because the writer forgot. And this led to the House of M, an event comic that continues the character assassination of the Scarlet Witch. And I am sorry, House of M even on its own is bad. Y'all remember the No More Mutants scene, but everything else was boring. And half the time, you needed to read tie-ins to see the effect of the fake world Wanda created. To see people remember that pile of dog doo-doo and act so proud of it pisses me off. All just to go over the same redemption arc she went through. And don't get me started on them retconning her mutant origin and her connection to Magneto. But perhaps, the character assassination was a common thing since 2000s. Their biggest stories occurred because of it. Planet Hulk, House of M, Avengers Disassembled, and the biggest one being Civil War. The damage Iron Man received from all of this is astounding, and the way they undid it is by giving him a memory loss, right after their biggest get-out-of-jail-free card was there during the Secret Invasion. Even if we take the current Marvel, what is so different? Spider-Man is at the worst place he has ever been in. X-Men have done everything to help the mutant population with the humans still hating and fearing mutants. They are right back to square one, even though it doesn't make that much sense to continue it anymore. And there's nothing they can do other than just take the entire mutant population on a different planet. And I know humans will still find a way to send Sentinels over, and their new home will be taken from them anyway. Doctor Strange's comic is picking up steam, but the Scarlet Witch Sorcerer Supreme comic is bad and painful to read. Fantastic Four started a new run just because the movies came out for their new reader initiative until they abandoned that to connect with One World Under Doom. Oh yeah, that's the best thing to talk about. This stupid brand synergy they do with MCU. They tried to get rid of the X-Men back in 2015-2016 to replace them with Inhumans because they were not a part of the MCU. They tried to do the same with Fantastic Four. Wanda stopped being a mutant, and Magneto was not her father to make her more like her MCU counterpart. Crappy event comics to align with what MCU is working on. Civil War 2 to promote the Civil War movie, a Spider-Man comic with Hulk and Punisher to promote the Brand New Day film, and a One World Under Doom just to promote Doomsday, and they are all terrible. One World Under Doom was Glazing Doom to rewrite Sasuke Uchiha levels. In Marvel, we promote the movies even though it should have been the other way around, and do a terrible job at it. They start off Ultimate Marvel for the second time, see the success it was bringing, and then end it 2 years later. They haven't even built loyalty with the new readers to stick around for their shit, but they want to pull the plug on it. Those fans are only reading these specific stories Marvel was putting out, and didn't stick around long enough to want to read your mainline stories. And if we even ignore that, what is it that we are even doing here? Ultimate Spider-Man for a few issues, and then nothing happened for a while. And then suddenly, he beat Kingpin and Mr. These two big bad who went out the goofiest way possible. Ultimate Wolverine had an interesting premise and a great start, and then it started fizzling out by the second issue. It just became this edgy, grim, dark, and flat out a boring story that was being told. Ultimate Wolverine was like the pizza cutter. All edge, no point. Ultimate X-Men is good, but it is so disconnected from everything else and not a single familiar name to get behind. You won't be blamed for not reading it. They really should have had Cyclops as the main character, instead of making him a Sentinel with his head placed in the crotch in the Ultimate Wolverine issue. In fact, it should have been the OG X-Men cast: Cyclops, Jean Grey, Iceman, Angel, and Beast. Ultimate Black Panther is boring. They brought back Miles Morales to the Ultimate Universe, and it was all filler. And the best thing they got going was the Ultimates. And then it ended. Funnily enough, it's written by the same guy who wrote Absolute Martian Manhunter, one of the most creative comic books you will find in DC and Marvel. And he was doing the same thing in Marvel, for creatively exploring characters and telling a good story with it. Look at the issue 4 of the Ultimates, when they focused on Doctor Doom's origin story. Or even the conflict between Captain America and Bucky. And yes, Absolute Martian Manhunter is ending too at the time of recording, but it was supposed to end on issue 6. It was so successful it got 6 more issues. Ultimate Spider-Man was so successful they talked about ending the series 10 issues prior. And now, we have the Ultimate Endgame, which is like the modern-day Ultimatum. We are killing the characters we spent 2 years developing in the most disrespectful way possible, and just to make sure the audience is instantly turned off by our event comic to end this really successful initiative we came up with. We disrespectfully killed Spider-Man, the character who not only put Ultimate Marvel on the map but also whose entire selling point is that we will get to see a happy Peter, and that was done an issue before killing off Captain America in a disrespectful manner. I ask y'all this: why are you even reading Marvel Comics? There's other comic books out there that are doing amazing work here. Read an IDW TMNT comic, or an IDW Transformer comic. Read Invincible from Image Comics. There's an Invisible Man comic right now, and that is awesome. Even if we turn it to just Marvel versus DC, that is still Marvel just can't win. DC shares many of the same problems as Marvel, but they are in a more creative-focused era where the writers enjoy more creative freedom than they would in Marvel. Despite some trash comics, DC's All In and Next Level is turning out to be successful, and their readers are relatively satisfied with the mainline comics they are making. There's a brighter future for them. And that's not even mentioning the Absolute Universe. They are constantly topping the best-selling comics in a month, dominating the Eisner Awards, and even getting non-comic book readers to read their comics or Absolute Batman at the very least. Marvel can't even hope to be as successful as DC. To show you just how vast the differences in interest level between DC and Marvel is, let me present two people in Super Eyepatch Wolf and Digital Overlord. Both started off when they talked about anime, and they are both venturing out to other non-anime stuff. One is an intelligent and a more put-together guy who has something to add to whatever he is discussing. someone whose opinions are often valued. The other is a disgusting Neanderthal who puts a cucumber up his ass. A loser who is not even successful in establishing an anime channel before focusing on something else, and often parrots and larps the opinions of those smarter and more successful than him because he never consumed a single media he talks about. Whose video will you watch? I am not saying their artists should be boiled in oil, and I am not saying all of Marvel's comics suck, but most of those comics need a lot of working up on, and the editorial in Marvel need to be fired with a lot of the artists being paid as per their value. As a fan, I just can't get behind Marvel, and I am sure as shit not reading their Armageddon comics. Because what do you mean they got another Superman archetype? If you enjoy this video, leave a like and subscribe for more awesome content. And I swear to God, if you bought a Civil War comic, I am gonna block you out of general principle. And never forget, digital overlord, Geek. You are and forever will be a loser. Do us all a favor and step into the wood chipper, you worthless disgusting dilettante. Try and flag this down, bitch.
Wolf. Wolf. Wolf, wolf. Wolf, wolf. Oh, fuck, baby, wolf.